Good morning, students. So, in today's session, we are going to learn about preparation of dinitrogen. So, what is the formula of dinitrogen, children? It is nothing but N2. Okay, two atoms of nitrogen get together with their triple bond. So, how they have been prepared in laboratory and in nature, how we are going to get, we are going to deal it today. So, first we see the preparation of dinitrogen. So, dinitrogen is commercially prepared by the fractional distillation of liquid air, and in the laboratory also it can be prepared. How it can be prepared? So nitrogen is obtained by treating aqueous ammonium chloride solution with potassium or sodium nitrate. That means when aqueous solution ammonium chloride when react with potassium nitrate or sodium nitrate, we can get nitrogen, dinitrogen. See, NH4Cl plus KNO2 gives rise N2 plus water molecules, okay, 2H2O plus KCl. So in the form of, if you see in the place of potassium, you can take sodium also, sodium nitrate also it can be formed. Then we will get sodium chloride here. Understand, children? So in laboratory preparation, when ammonium chloride react with potassium nitrate, it gives dinitrogen. Understand, children? Yes. In the next preparation, pure nitrogen can be obtained by thermal decomposition of azide. Azide means ammonium dichromate. Okay. It can be formed by decomposition, thermal decomposition. Thermal means heat. By the heat, the compound is going to be decomposed, then it releases dinitrogen. So look at here, NH4 twice Cr2O7, it is ammonium dichromate. When it is heated, when it undergoes thermal decomposition, it can give dinitrogen plus Cr2O3 plus 4H2O. Understand, children? Not only this, it can also be formed from a barium azide. Okay, it can also be formed from barium azide or sodium azide. So here I have taken barium azide BaN3 twice on heating, it gives Ba plus 3N2. So here also we got 3 molecules of dinitrogen. So these are the 3 preparations of dinitrogen. So in laboratory we have prepared with the help of the aqueous ammonium chloride when react with sodium nitrate, and here thermal decomposition of azide or ammonium dichromate, and from barium azide. If we see their physical properties of dinitrogen, so dinitrogen is chemically inert. Okay, dinitrogen is chemically inert in nature. So it can make the atmosphere inert. It can make the atmosphere inert by its nature. Understand, children? And next one, dinitrogen is colorless, odorless and tasteless. That means it is not having any color or any smell or any taste. And it is highly insoluble in water. That means it cannot be dissolved in water. So dinitrogen is highly insoluble in water. Next one, it is having low freezing and boiling point. It has low freezing and boiling point. And next one, it has, we know that what are the two isotopes of dinitrogen N2? It has two stable isotopes, that is nitrogen 714, nitrogen 715. Understand, children? These are the physical properties of dinitrogen. So if we move into the chemical properties, that means when they react with any other element, what are the products we are going to get? We are going to learn now. Next, here dinitrogen is an inert gas. Why it is inert gas? Because of its high bond enthalpy. So high bond is present between two nitrogen atoms. See, we have already discussed, isn't it? Nitrogen with a triple bond. And it does not react with other elements, but its reactivity increases with increasing in temperature. That means it normally do not react with any other element, but whenever you increase the temperature, then it is going to be react with the other elements. Clear, children? So here lithium I have taken. So lithium when react with dinitrogen on heating, what it is going to give? 2Li3N. Understand? 2Li3N. So when it reacts with magnesium, so magnesium Mg plus N2 gives rise Mg3N2. Here you have to balance. So here Mg3, that means here this valency comes here, this valency goes this side. So nitrogen valency is 3, that 3 comes to magnesium, and magnesium valency is 2, that 2 moves towards the nitrogen. Okay, cross multiplication. Already I think you have learned everything in your first year. So here I have balanced 3 Mg plus N2 gives rise Mg3N2. Next, when it reacts with boron. Yes, when boron reacts with nitrogen, it gives 2Bn. Understand? Here 2, here 2 borons. So balanced, yes. And not only this, about 2000 degrees centigrade, that means during lightnings, nitrogen combines with the atmosphere oxygen to form nitric oxide. Look at here. During lightning, nitrogen combines with O2, that means oxygen, to form nitric oxide. So N2 plus O2 gives rise to N. It is an irreversible reaction. After some time again it can be changed to its elemental form. Clear, children? So these are the chemical properties and physical properties of dinitrogen. Now we are going to move what are the uses of dinitrogen. So dinitrogen is used in the manufacture of ammonia. So as it contains nitrogen, so ammonia is the what is the formula of ammonia? NH3. So it is definitely used in the preparation of ammonia. Next, it is used to create inert atmosphere in iron and steel industry. So naturally the nitrogen is an inert in nature, isn't it? That is why it makes the atmosphere inert. So in the same way, in the steel industry and iron industry, this dinitrogen will be present where it can make that atmosphere inert. Understand? And next one, liquid nitrogen is used as a refrigerant and in cryosurgery. What do you mean by cryosurgery, children? Cryosurgery is nothing but it involves the use of extreme cold to destroy abnormal tissues. Understand? For example, at a particular place, some tumors have been observed in a man or in any person. Understand? There, what happened means this liquid nitrogen is injected with some needle-like structure. There, that place will become extreme cold. When it becomes extreme cold, the abnormalities, that means the tumors or anything, it can be destroyed. That is called cryosurgery. In cryosurgery, liquid ammonia is used, okay, to destroy the abnormal tissues like tumors and all. So these are the uses and preparation, physical properties, chemical properties. Very simple. You can memorize this. Yes, so this is about dinitrogen. Next comes to ammonia. So ammonia, what is the formula of ammonia, children? What is the formula of ammonia? NH3, isn't it? So look at here, ammonia means NH3, the formula is NH3. So here what is the central atom, children? The central atom in ammonia, okay, that means nitrogen, undergoes sp3 hybridization. Okay, it undergoes sp3 hybridization. So here ammonia has 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair of electrons. So when it is having 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair of electrons, the structure will be like this. So 1 lone pair of electrons and 3 hydrogens now. Yes, so this is the structure, and we are going to be this NH3 is expected to be having bond angle 109 degrees 28, but here we are going to get 107.8 degrees. Understand? The bond angle is 107.8 degrees. So here this is the structure of ammonia, where the central atom is nitrogen, which undergoes sp3 hybridization. Understand? Ammonia has 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair of electrons. So the decreasing in bond angle is attributed to the presence of lone pair on a nitrogen atom, and it gives great repulsion between the lone pair and bond pair. It gives a great repulsion between lone pair of electrons and bond pair of electrons. So this is the expected bond angle. Now we are going to move into the preparation of ammonia. So in nature, by the decay of nitrogenous organic matter. So nitrogenous organic matter, whatever matter is present on the earth crust, it contains, like example, urea. So here, by decaying this nitrogenous matter, we can get ammonia. Understand? So what is the formula of urea? NH2CO, NH2 when reacts with the water molecules, 2H2O, it gives NH4 twice CO3. Again it can be decomposed to give 2NH3 plus H2O plus CO2. So here we got ammonia. Understand? 2NH3 we got, no? So this is in nature we are going to get in the form of the decomposition of this natural nitrogenous organic matter. Naturally ammonia will be present in small quantities in soil and in air. But when it is formed by the decay of nitrogenous organic matter, we are going to get this ammonia. So in a laboratory, how it is going to be prepared? So in laboratory, by the action of dry slaked lime, yes, that is CaOH twice, or caustic soda, that is NaOH, on an ammonium salt. So when this dry slaked lime or caustic soda reacts with ammonium salt, we are going to get ammonia. So look at here, NH4Cl, ammonium chloride, reacts with slaked lime, CaOH twice, calcium hydroxide. What it gives, children? It gives CaCl2, yes, calcium and chlorine reacts and CaCl2 and 2 water molecules, and whatever left, what are the things left? 2 NH3. Understand? Calcium reacts with chlorine to give CaCl2, calcium chloride, plus H2O molecule, and the remaining thing is 2 NH3. So ammonia we got it here. So it is the preparation in laboratory. Next, ammonium chloride reacts with caustic soda, NaOH. So NaOH means against this NaCl. Okay, we are going to get NaCl, common salt, plus H2O, and remaining NH3. Whatever left, NH3 is left. So this is the preparation of ammonia in laboratory with the help of ammonium chloride will react with the caustic soda and slaked lime. So in laboratory we can prepare to small extent only. Understand? But if you want more and more quantity, we should move to the further process, that is industrial preparation. Industrial preparation, which is nothing but Haber's process. Yes, so in Haber's process we have learned from before classes Haber's process, so you already have an idea. We are going to learn in detail now. So in a Haber's process, ammonia is prepared on a large scale. Here it is prepared on small scale, but here in industrial preparation it has been prepared in large scale from its elements hydrogen and nitrogen in the ratio 3:1. Why 3:1? Here what is the formula of ammonia? NH3. So here 3 hydrogens and 1 nitrogen is required. So that is 3:1 ratio. Understand, children? So the reaction between nitrogen and hydrogen to give ammonia is reversible. That means again it can come back to its elemental form. So before it coming back to its elemental form, we have to take that liquid ammonia. Understand? So what are the favorable conditions to prepare? What are the favorable conditions to prepare this ammonia? Are the pressure should be at high pressure, that is 200 to 400 atmospheric pressure, and the temperature should be at moderate, that is 450 to 500 degrees centigrade. And what are the catalyst? What is the catalyst, children? Catalyst which increase the rate of the chemical reaction without undergoing any chemical change. So the catalyst here, what is the catalyst we have taken? Powdered iron with K2O plus Al2O3. And next one is promoter. Promoter we are going to get molybdenum. What do you mean by promoter? Which increase the, we already learned what do you mean by promoter, which increase the rate of chemical reaction, isn't it? Promoter and inhibitor we have already seen. Yes, a promoter means which increase the rate of chemical reaction. Understand, children? So in industrial preparation, so this is the flow chart for the manufacture of ammonia. So how it is going to be how we are going to get that ammonia, I will tell now. So look at here, 2 openings where hydrogen gas and nitrogen gas can be passed through. Understand? Here the raw materials we have taken nitrogen and hydrogen, and it is mixed in the ratio. What is the volume? That is 1:3 ratio. Yes. So here first nitrogen, no, 1:3 hydrogens, 1:3 ratio. Yes. So here we have taken 1:3 ratio. So the mixture is now moved into the compressor. Okay. Here where that 200 atmospheric pressure is given. So what is the pressure I said? So 200 atmospheric pressure. Okay, this gases moves to the compressor where it given high pressure, that is 200 atmospheric pressure. Then it moves to the reaction bed where it contains catalyst. So this is called reaction bed where it contains the catalyst. What is the catalyst, children? We have used iron with K2O plus Al2O3, isn't it? Now the mixture is allowed to react at temperature 450 to 500 degrees centigrade. Then the reaction mixture with about 10% ammonia is cooled to get liquid ammonia. So look at here. So here we have taken, so look at here, hydrogen gas and nitrogen gas was moved to compressor, and from compressor it moves to the reaction bed where catalyst is present. So catalyst which increase the rate of reaction. So these are in gaseous state, isn't it? So this mixture is about now 10% ammonia is cooled. When it is cooled, the condensation process will take place. Now said that liquid ammonia we are going to get. So the liquid is tapped out. Okay. So here we are going to get the liquid through this, and the unreacted gas. So whatever unreacted gas are there, again from here to, again it moves to the pump. See, look at here, N2 and H2. Whatever unreacted gas, that means whatever things are not condensed to give liquid ammonia, they move again back. And it can be go to the pump, and again it can be changed. So this process continue until we will get the liquid ammonia. Understand? From catalyst, here what we are going to get? N2 plus H2 plus NH3. So 3 are there. N2 is there, H2 is there, and H3 is there. Ammonia is also there. So when it is cooled, we will get liquid ammonia. So liquid ammonia is tapped out, and whatever remaining unreacted gases are there, again they will be moved back. Understand? And again they will be moved back, and again the process will be continue until we will get the complete liquid ammonia. So this is how the industrial preparation, that is Haber's process. Understand? This is the flow chart of manufacture of ammonia. Now we are going to see the properties. So ammonia is a colorless gas with a pungent smell. Understand, children? Ammonia is a colorless gas with a pungent smell which we cannot bear, and it is highly soluble in water. Dinitrogen is insoluble in water, ammonia is soluble in water, and it is basic in nature. Ammonia is basic in nature. When it reacts with ammonia NH3 plus H2O, it forms ammonium hydroxide. Hydroxide is then means it is basic in nature. Next, it has high melting and boiling point. Why it is having high melting and boiling point? Due to the presence of a hydrogen bond. So to break this bond, we require high temperature. Understand? So that is why it has high melting and boiling point. Next, it donates a pair of electrons to form Lewis base. So already it have a 2 lone pair of electrons. So it donates to become a Lewis base, and it reacts with acids to form salts. When ammonia reacts with acids, what it forms? Ammonium chloride. That means ammonium salt. And 2NH3 plus H2SO4 hydrogen sulfate also it forms ammonium sulfate. Understand, children? So these are the properties. Now moves to the uses. Liquid ammonia is a good solvent for ionic as well as covalent substances. Solvent means no, maximum will use water, but here liquid ammonia is also a good solvent for not all but for ionic and as well as covalent substances. Ammonia is used in the manufacture of fertilizers like urea and ammonium sulfate, which is very much required for the plant growth. Yes, for the ammonia means it contains nitrogen. So for the process of their protein synthesis and all, it require ammonia. Next, liquid ammonia is used as a refrigerant. Understand, children? So these are the process and preparations of dinitrogen and ammonia. So this is for today's class. In next class we are going to deal the next thing. Okay, children, thank you.